So you might be asking, what is a 20 time project? And that's any project or event coordinated by a student that helps to benefit their community and shows personal growth.
My interest in my project started when I thought about this year where everything has been so different. We as a senior class have lived through and sacrificed so much.
I created a vegan blog called Viva Veggie to give people more information, recipes, and tips on how to be vegan.
I decided to give back to a localized shelter called Save a Mom Pregnant Dog Rescue.
I wanted to ensure that high schoolers were getting civically engaged in Stark County and Jackson Township.
For this 20 time project, I decided to write a fictional story because I have loved writing since I was young.
I decided to calculate my carbon footprint, and to my surprise, it was extremely larger than I would have ever thought.
It also helped me discover my passion for community service and working with children.
I organized the Junior Theater Camp for elementary and middle schoolers, which is Moana Junior.
I was able to connect some of my summer research to the research papers I was doing on the myths of psychology and the facts of mental health.
The project was solidified. I was going to teach the tuba fundamentals online, or attempt to at the very least.
But my essential question to all of this was, is dance benefiting your mental health?
I think this project will be truly beneficial to me and my future professional career.
So I wanted to write a book to kind of showcase to them that, hey, this is a real thing that happens.
I've created an online secondhand clothing store called Lena Fofina Shop and an interactive website for my customers to educate themselves on their environmental impact called Lena Fofina Shop Sustainability.
I decided to create stickers that promote body positivity that consist of my art and or quotes that remind others to be kind to themselves.
The project was a lot different than I initially thought. I wasn't sure how I would turn a piece into a project, but getting it copyrighted seemed to help the process along.
And my essential question for this project was, how am I able to help others have access to clothes that will improve their self-confidence?
As a prospective computer science student, but someone with a strong foundation in the arts, this project to me has been all about bridging that gap. If software is the painting, then programming is the brush.
The best way to feel better about a difficult situation is by doing something nice for someone else.
Specifically, it's a film that examines the effect that music has on our emotions and what it can do for us for our positive emotions.
I began researching poverty in our area to determine which schools I would like to work with.
For my 20 time project, I decided to do an internship at my home church.
My project is small steps towards combating human trafficking.
I've learned that women are 60% more likely to develop anxiety disorders than men. And anxiety is really just a broad term to generalize OCD, PTSD, social anxiety, panic disorder, phobias, and the most common one, generalized anxiety disorder.
For my 20 time project, I decided to tie-dye clothing and masks, and then donate 30% of the proceeds that I've made to the Ronald McDonald House.
For my 20 time project, I decided to help those in need by focusing on the Serving Area Military Veterans and Widows SAM Center.
For my 20 time project, I decided to reduce the amount of plastic I waste by taking bottle caps, melting them down, and molding them into ornaments that I then donated to a nursing home.
My 20 time project was to recruit volunteers to tutor these children so they receive the help they need.
I'm passionate about the planet, I'm passionate about the species that live here, so how can I share this passion with other students in a way that benefits us both in the future?
The bulk of the actual project was the composing the music itself.
My goal for this was to kickstart my career as a businesswoman because I am planning on majoring in marketing and I am also planning on becoming an entrepreneur and starting my own business.
Project has shaped me because I realized that cats and dogs and not only animals do need help sometimes.
The focus of my project was providing families in need with cloth diapers.
I knew that I wanted to provide an online resource to help any K-5 student with online learning.
I started a digital marketing company called Enhanced Media.
My project focuses on the skill gap between creating music and playing music that other people have written.
My why was very easy. It was, what do graphic designers do in the real world, and how do they do it?
That looks cool, but I could never do that. It's something that I found myself, my friends, and my family saying a little bit too much. We all had this roadblock that we put in by our own minds that we couldn't do something even though we'd never tried it.
But I absolutely knew that I wanted to do music because it is my #1 passion
So for my 20 time project, I decided to try and bring sign language back into the mainstream as a way to promote inclusivity for the deaf community and educate myself while also trying to educate those around me.
Margaret J. Wheatley once said, "There is no power for change greater in the world than a community discovering what it cares about." I believe this quote to perfectly embody the meaning of my 20 time project, which dealt with the frame farm rezoning.
We found a way to mix the purposes of our original 20 time projects so that it was something extremely relevant to both of us, especially considering the circumstances.
The idea for my project was to create a music video focused around how internalized homophobia affects members of the LGBTQ+ community.
From the beginning, I knew that my goal was to work locally.
I am very glad I did this project because it has taught me so much.
I did senior photos for kids that don't have either enough money or the time to try and find a well-experienced photographer.
Decided I wanted to do some sort of photography project that Rahab could use in raising awareness.
I learned so much from this. I am so thankful for the opportunity to get to do this.
When given a 20-time project, I really wanted to look into what type of media was going to be the most beneficial for the most amount of people.
Now that the project is all done, I really don't want to stop researching. It deserves to have more awareness brought into it.